Chapter 1 The full moon loomed large in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the sleepy town of Moonlight Falls. For the contenders for the Miss Moonlight Falls pageant, it was the biggest night of the year. But for former beauty queen turned werewolf, Sarah Jones, it was the night of the hunt. Sarah had been cursed with lycanthropy 10 years ago, on the night of the full moon, after a chance encounter with a wild wolf. At first, she was terrified of her new condition. But over time, she learned to embrace her wolf side. On the nights of the full moon, Sarah would transform into a ravenous beast, driven by an insatiable hunger for human flesh. She had always managed to control her urges, but this full moon was different. It was the biggest full moon of the year, and Sarah's hunger was stronger than ever. She knew that she had to find food, and she knew the perfect place to look, the Miss Moonlight Falls pageant. Chapter 2 The pageant was being held at the town hall, and the place was packed. Sarah slipped in through a back door and blended in with the crowd. She could feel her hunger growing stronger with every passing minute. She scanned the crowd, searching for her prey. She saw the contestants, all dressed up in their gowns and tiaras. They were all beautiful, but one contestant in particular caught Sarah's eye. Her name was Emily, and she was the current Miss Moonlight Falls. She was tall and slender, with long blonde hair and blue eyes. She was the epitome of beauty, and Sarah knew that she would make a delicious meal. Sarah made her way through the crowd, her eyes fixed on Emily. She could smell Emily's fear, and it only made her hunger stronger. Chapter 3 Emily was on stage, answering questions from the judges. She was poised and confident, and the crowd loved her. But Sarah could tell that Emily was scared. She could see it in her eyes. Sarah knew that this was her chance. She waited until Emily was distracted, and then she pounced. She leaped onto the stage and tackled Emily to the ground. Emily screamed in terror as Sarah's claws and fangs tore into her flesh. The crowd was horrified. They had never seen anything like it. People screamed and ran for the exits. Sarah feasted on Emily's flesh, savoring every bite. When she was finished, she licked her lips and looked around. The crowd was gone, and the hall was empty. Sarah smiled. She had had her fill, and now she could finally rest easy. Chapter 4 The next morning, the town of Moonlight Falls was in shock. The reigning Miss Moonlight Falls had been killed and mutilated in the middle of the pageant. The police were baffled, and the townspeople were terrified. Sarah knew that she had to be careful. She didn't want anyone to suspect her. She hid herself away in her cabin in the woods, waiting for the next full moon. But the townspeople weren't going to let Sarah get away with it. They were determined to find the monster that had killed their beloved pageant queen. They formed a posse and armed themselves with whatever weapons they could find. They searched the woods for Sarah, but she was always one step ahead of them. Chapter 5 The next full moon was approaching, and Sarah knew that she had to be prepared. She didn't want to be caught off guard again. She went to her old friend, the witch who had cursed her with lycanthropy. She asked the witch for a potion to help her control her hunger. The witch gave Sarah a potion and warned her to use it wisely. She told Sarah that the potion would help her control her hunger, but it would also make her stronger and more dangerous. Sarah thanked the witch and returned to her cabin in the woods. She took the potion and waited for the full moon to rise. Chapter 6 The full moon rose, and Sarah transformed into a werewolf. But this time, she was different. The potion had changed her. She was stronger and faster than ever before. And her hunger was even stronger. Sarah knew that she had to find food, and she knew where to go. She headed back to the town of Moonlight Falls, determined to finish what she had started.